Hey guys, Chase here from Chase Hairdressing. I'd like to take you on a little tour through my shop. Please welcome. Chase here from Chase Hairdressing in the south of Johannesburg, South Africa. I am one of the Muk Global guest artists, and today we are going to do a little educational video for you guys. I'm going to be working on my mannequin. We are going to be doing a color technique for you guys, as well as a nice cut, something that can be recreated in the salons by you guys, and something that's also quite simple at the same time. So what I'm going to be doing with my mannequin now is I'm going to be basically breaking her color a little bit. She's come in and she's a little bit too dark for me, so I'm going to be pre-lightening her using the Muk Bleach and 20 volt. With her, luckily I can do a scalp application right through because she's not human and she doesn't have body heat. But generally in the salon, you guys know the story that you would apply your Muk Bleach from mid-lengths to ends, and then going in at the root afterwards because of the body heat, and then generally using one of the converters just to calm down the scalp as well. But I'm going to be going in and just breaking her color so that I've got something a little bit lighter and something a little bit more that we can become a little bit more playful with. So I am going to go in and do a full application of my dolly, and then we will come back as soon as she is a little bit lighter for you. I'm going to be doing this application with the traditional hot cross bun technique, which is something that we've learned since beauty school. And I'm just going to go in and apply sort of to the mid-lengths root area first, and then I will take it through to the mid-lengths and ends. When applying the product, don't be sparing with it. Get it on nice and thick so that it's at least doing what it needs to do, getting a lot more oxygen in the hair that way. You're less likely to have patchiness in your color. So just applying, like I say, because she's a dolly, we can apply to the scalp first. But in the salon, we would obviously definitely take into consideration the sensitivity of a client's scalp and also the heat that is coming off of her scalp. What we're going to do is we're going to do a full application here, and then we're going to time probably 45 to 50 minutes for maximum lift. I am sort of foreseeing that because of the hair being so dark and it obviously being a mannequin and not a real client, that this will lift to probably about an 8 level gold. So you could reapply and obviously re-lift some more, but we want to basically keep her at an 8 level because I am going to be using some mahoganies, reds and coppers on her hair when we are finished. So this is the main reason that I'm lifting the color at the moment, because I just want to break the base so that our next set of color pops a lot more. And I must be honest, when I'm doing a bleach, I would never go more than 20 volt peroxide, because I find with the Muk Bleach it lives so beautifully on a 20 volt. I don't even think I've actually used the 30 volume peroxide on a client yet. I've never seen a need to do it. So again, like I said, just going in with your cross section. I've used this section for almost 30 years in my career, and it works for me. I'm not saying it's the exact way it should be done, it's the way I do it. So we've done our cross section there, and now I'm just going to go in with thin slices and cross it. Obviously just trying to get the product straight through the hair nice and evenly, and trying to not leave any sort of lines, because generally if you're going to leave a little bit of extra bleach on the hair like there, you're definitely going to get a little bit more lift in that area. So always making sure even your bleach application is very smooth and there's no blotches of color. You're going to get a much smoother outcome of the actual bleach itself. Okay guys, so we've now finished our application of the bleach in 20 volt. I have put it into a shower cap just to keep it moist, because I do find if you leave it open air without putting clay in, it can tend to go a little bit dry. Once the product goes dry, it's not going to lift like you want it to. So we've got it nice and wrapped away, and we'll be back soon. Okay guys, so we have now lifted up our mannequin with our bleach in 20 volt. As I predicted, we got about an 8 level 3, even sort of a goldy copper at the moment, but it's a perfect level for what I want. I'm going to be using some mahoganies, reds and coppers, so this is a perfect base for that. So what I have done so long, we have obviously rinsed off the bleach, we did a light shampoo, I then sort of prepped the hair so that I even the porosity with the deep Muk leave-in. I find that just definitely sort of softens the cuticle, helps me to work a little bit easier, and then gets the porosity ready for me so that I've got a little bit more of an even color. I do use this product on every single client that I'm about to color prep if I'm going to wash first. So what I've done is we have sectioned off our dolly so that to prepare her for my color technique. We have obviously got a small sort of triangle, a big sort of triangle section here above the occipital bone. The reason that I use a plaiting technique is just to make it neat and out of the way, so if I'm working on any other panel, it's not going to affect my color at all. So here we have got a section doing triangling up above the occipital bone. Then again, a diamond sort of triangle shape around the crown area. We have a diamond triangle shape on the side, on the other side, and obviously in the fringe section. I'm going to quickly mix my colors, and then I will explain to you what I've mixed, how I'm going to be applying it, and why we're going to be applying it. Okay guys, for the first part of our color application, for the bottom section, we are going to be using the 33.22. I want a nice deep intense mahogany, so we're going to be mixing this, and again 1 to 1.5 mixture. We're going to be mixing 30 grams of the 33.22 with then 45 grams of 20 volt or 6%. Okay guys, so for our first color application, I am going to be doing the back section, which is just above the occipital, obviously the underneath section here. For this panel, we are just going to use one straight color from roots to ends. When I actually do this haircut, we're going to be taking off a decent amount of hair here as well. But for me, we need to do the color technique first to then complement the haircut. So with this section here, we are using the Muk Hybrid Color 33.22, which is a deep mahogany. Because we've pre-lightened the hair, we should get a little bit of a pop on the color. So here we're just going to neatly work through, and from roots to ends, one straight color right through. Working as neat as possible. Like I said to you, the reason that the other sections are clipped out of the way and flatted is just to make it a lot neater for me to work. Makes my work a lot neater. The neater you work, the neater your outcome. I don't know if you guys can hear any sounds in the background. We're obviously filming at the moment without any music, but we can hear that traditional African fly flying around the shop somewhere in the background there. So like I said, this color we are just going to apply straight through. I always like to do the root section first, saturate the roots nicely, and then I go through to the legs and ends. Again guys, working as neatly as possible. I've always sort of prided myself of being a neat, clean hairdresser. I have seen some people that literally when they colour hair they need to have their own colour booth because they tend to make such a mess. The nice thing about the Muk Hybrid range as well is that even though we are going to be working in sort of segments here, if it comes, the colour does have a lifespan, so it will come to a certain point where the colour will stop oxidizing and activating. So at least gives us time to then play around with the rest of our colour. Okay, I'm going to start taking it through. You tend to see a lot of people in the salon applying colour and they rub it vigorously to get it into the hair, which as a hairdresser it sort of makes sense to us, but you're also damaging the cuticle by rubbing the hair. So generally you want to use a nice thin section, have enough product on there and milk it into the hair. If you do that, you're going to get full application right through, and you're working against, working with the cuticle, so we're not damaging the hair and making it more porous. So there you can see what we call milking. The colour is evenly through. And then move on to the next section. There's not a lot of rocket science involved in this. But again, with these colour techniques, it's all about planning the colour out before you do it. Pre-sectioning, so you know where you're going and what you're going to be doing. I really do enjoy the viscosity of this product. It's really nice to work with and to go through the hair. It doesn't drip while you're busy with it. So it's a lot easier to work with than some other brands I have worked with in the past. Generally when I'm doing a class like this is where I would ask, would anybody like to ask questions? But unfortunately I don't have much of an audience here, and she doesn't say much. She's a very quiet client, this one. She's shedding a bit. Okay guys, so I've obviously finished the application from roots, mid-lengths and ends of my 33.22, and then I'm just going to sort of zone it off so that again I don't mix my colors. Makes it a lot easier for me. If you were working on a client, you also don't want to get color all over her cape and color all over her, so we're just going to make it nice and neat here. I am going to be using the meshes just to cover up and zone off the panels that I don't want to be working with anymore. as neatly as possible. Next desired shade, this is going to be one of the colors that we're going to be alternating with. This is the 5562, which is a light brown, intense red violet. So again, I'm going to mix 40 mils of this just so we don't run out. Again, mixed with turmeric gold. The second mixture that I'm going to be doing is we are going to be using a 4422 from Muk. That is a medium intense violet brown. This is going to be our root color for the rest of the color. We are going to be doing a ghosting sort of technique, root stretch. So the 4422 is going to be used globally on the root area, and then we are going to be alternating with the colors that we're going to use through the ends. So what I like to do generally when I've got a couple of different bowls of color going, it can get a little bit confusing. So what you can do is actually take the piece off the top of the box, clip it off and slide it into the little slot that Muk has so kindly made for us with the next bowl, so that at least you know which color is which. There again, to start off with, I'm going to mix 40 grams of color so that I don't run out while I'm halfway through. So it'll be 40 grams of color to 60 grams of 20 volume peroxide. Very important to mix your mixture to exact weights and milliliters. That way when your client returns back in and you're doing the same color technique, you have the same color. Okay, and then for our last shade that we're going to be using to do our alternate sections, we are going to use the 8866, which is a light blonde, intense red. So that again, we're going to mix 40 grams of. This is obviously the lightest red that they make in the Muk colors. Any lighter than this, and then obviously it starts to go into a copper color. Okay guys, so now we are going to move on to doing our individual triangles. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be working in V shapes. I always like working with V's and diamond shapes. I just find the outcome of the color blend always seems to sit better. So the panel that we're not busy on, moving that out of the way. So the bottom panel here, like I said to you, we're going to be doing a stretched root. So we're going to be starting off with the 4422 on the one section on the root, and then moving into the 5562 through the mid lengths and ends. On the next panel, we're using again the 4422 on the root, and then moving into the 8866 through the mid lengths to ends. Just doing a root stretch and a blend at the same time. On each piece you can stretch the root slightly more, slightly less, so that we are getting a little bit of different depth in the root instead of it being the same all the way through. There I've got enough right through. And then what I tend to like to do is to use the edge of the brush just to give it a little bit of a stretch. Or you can also use the end of the tip brush just to stretch it through a little bit. And then we're going to move into the second colour. Here we're using the 5562, and we're going to saturate the ends with this colour. so you can start to get the gist of what I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to film doing every single panel, but basically we are going to be doing the same technique on every triangle right through the head. What I am going to do though is where we started off with the bottom panel on the ends was the 5562. On the other side we will then swap, so that we will start on the first panel going through with the 8866. The same with the front and the back. We will start whatever color we start with first here will be the second color there. So check in with just now and we'll show you the finished result. Okay guys, so we have done our full development time of 35 minutes from the last piece that I applied. We then timed 35 minutes, we rinsed, we shampooed twice with the Vivid shampoo, Color Lock. We then did a Vivid conditioner on there just to soften it up and lock in the color. What I'm going to be doing now with my mannequin is we are going to be doing a dry haircut. So I'm going to prepare her, I'm going to get her very, very sleek, I'm going to iron her. Once she is ironed and everything, then I will be back to show you my cutting technique. What I'm going to be doing is obviously drying her straight with the Muk infrared dryer, and then once she is straight I am going to make her super sleek using the wide Muk styler. Okay guys, so we are back again. I've just dried off my mannequin's hair and just run the iron through very, very lightly so that I prepared it for the cutting. So you can actually see the colors and the color technique with our mahogany root, our sort of red mahogany running through, and then our 866, which is sort of like a red copper, and you can see all the colors sort of melt together nicely. By using the V and triangle sections, we have no lines or anything like that. Through the back section, obviously we did the whole underneath, the occipital one base color, but you can actually see that the colors flow beautifully together. And now I am going to create a nice cut for you. Now it's time for our exciting haircut. I'm looking forward to doing this cut so I can get rid of all these funny little tatty ends. So what I've decided to do today is I do a lot of dry hair cutting in the salon, just because firstly it customizes my work, secondly it's a little bit more funky, and when the hair is dry and I cut it I can see any imperfections. So today we are going to do a one length box pop. Some of you guys that came to watch me when I was guesting in Australia would have seen me do a similar cut. So it's just something because I want to keep it a little bit more exciting. All of you guys know how to cut a bob. All of you guys know how to do a layered cut. So I'm just going to show you something that I do quite often in the salon, also on different variations of length. So I am going to go in and we are going to give this lady a pretty box pop. And then what I will do is a very subtle layer, and I'm going to show you how to do that as well, by using just one single diamond section on the top, just to create a very unique layer without taking away from the thickness of this box pop at the end. We don't want any graduation at the bottom here. All I want is a nice solid bob. And we're going to create a little bit of a layer so that if she wears her hair with a bit of movement, she has some movement up here. Also, that will show off the colors a little bit more. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to sit so that I'm at eye level. I've got my mannequin head slightly forward. I'm going to use my guide as my comb, my pair of clippers, and we are going to determine where you want to do this, the lengthwise. If you haven't done this cut before, the best thing to do maybe is to start off a little bit longer and take it off until you get the feel of it, and then go into the length you want, and then we take off the hair. So here we go. Guys, please make sure that your comb is at the right angle. If you're going to be slightly off, if you're going to sit at an angle, your comb will be at an angle. So try to sit or stand as straight as possible, keeping your posture right, keeping the comb level. Rather take your section a couple of times before you go in and cut it. As you know, once it's cut, it's cut. As they say, hairdressers don't make mistakes, we make new discoveries. So we are going to stick with about that length. I'm checking that my comb is straight. I'm going to go through with my clippers, and we are going to go straight off. Okay guys, so obviously we have created our one length with the clippers, nothing fancy there, just straight around, nice and square, level all the way. Obviously just checking that your sides are equal, that's the main thing. Then with the layering technique here, all we're going to do is we're going to take out a diamond shape, which will run from the top of the occipital bone to just past the crown, above the two ears. I'm going to lift that up, elevate it, straight up off the top of the head, and cut it level, and basically drop it down, and you will see that it will just open up this cut a tiny little bit. So also, depending on the size of the triangle, depends on the amount of hair that your client has. She has fairly thick hair, so we're going to go for a fairly big diamond shape, so it's two triangles. It'll be the one triangle, which, like I say, the top ends just above the occipital bone. And then a smaller triangle through the top. And then obviously the two triangles together will create a diamond shape. And again, I take this whole panel in one piece, so you guys can see there that I have a nice diamond shape. Roughly, what we're going to do is elevate this hair straight out of the cutting point, coming up. Basically, you can see your guideline of the length is there, so keep the guideline of the length. Find the guideline from the front, which is there, straight up, finding your two guides. And basically just softening this panel out. Just basically getting rid of that triangle on the top there. Coming up some more. What you can do to feather it is just open your hands a little bit more. Don't feather it too much though. We want to keep the bulk of this cut as much as possible. Let's just double check. And if there's longer bits here and there, that's kind of what you want, because you want it to be slightly more broken up. Again, I'm just softening it a little bit more. And that is that done. So now you can actually see that it adds a little bit of graduation through the back there and a little bit of movement. So that when she does wear this hair a little bit of movement or wavy, you can actually see that there is something happening inside there. And if you're wanting to, you can obviously add a fringe into this. I think today we will add a fringe for you guys. Again, I'm going to do that with the clippers. So we're going to focus on the front of her. Bringing everything forward. What I like to do is to use the Hot Muk 6-in-1 styling, just to give the hair a little bit of control. What I like about the spray is it holds it, but without it being too sticky. It leaves the hair a little bit more workable for me. And with the fringe, you can determine what kind of fringe you want to put in there. Solid fringe, textured fringe, asymmetrical fringe. Go from underneath. Determining how wide you want the fringe. I want it too wide because I like the hair covering over the cheekbone. Determining where you want your fringe. Okay, so we've got our fringe down a little bit more at least. And then with the Hot Muk spray, I like to use that as my texture spray. It's really nice to work with. You guys can see all the different colors sort of coming through there. And there we have our finished look. Like I say, you can do it with a fringe, without a fringe. With her, we've gone with a fringe. It can be one length, it can be shorter, it can be more layered. But that is my outcome for today. I hope you guys enjoyed my video, and if you like my work, please let us know so I can give you some more work, please, or some more videos. I look forward to doing some more stuff for you guys again. Thanks very much, and that's it from Chase and Chase Hairdressing and Muk, South Africa. Thanks very much, guys. Enjoy.